I do think that as much as Stephanie has proven to herself what it is that she does, and as much as you've proven to yourself and the things that you've researched, and I know I picked abduction cases. Yeah. It's just one thing to focus on, but you've researched numerous other things. There's still always going to be enough of a question, enough of a possibility that we're not 1,000% absolutely certain,
of course,
of what it is that we're thinking. But it doesn't mean that we can't feel like we have it figured out. It doesn't mean that we can't feel like we have it at least as an accepted fact of what it is that we're doing. And there's so much that we can take as accepted fact on what it is that we're doing.
I think a lot of people jump to the accepted fact a little faster than they need to, but the only thing I guess I'll add to that is you should never stop learning. When you stop learning, you stop growing, and never just feel like you've arrived at your conclusion or arrived at your location or whatever it might be, or your level of whatever you're trying to do. That's
like saying somebody has solved it like beyond, that's like coming up with a final solution.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do.
I think people are way too quick to take some things for granted too. And to kind of just accept something as being that and moving on from there.
It's like they jump right to the next thing. Like, okay, now that I figured this out, let me figure this out. And they have very specific ways of investigating or very specific ways of doing things or trying to capture evidence. It's like, just try something different, Try to learn from someone different.
And TV has played a huge part in that.
It absolutely has.
And watching, and it's not just TV now too. It's like watching other people investigate.
Yep.
Has kind of put, like, people are coming up to me, and I was using EchoVox last week, and people were coming up to me saying, like, okay, so now that you're able to communicate with the spirits, like, how does this work? And how? I'm like, whoa. I never said that I'm definitely communicating with them. I'm just saying that that's what we're hoping is happening. And, this is one way of trying to do it. It doesn't mean that it's absolutely 100%. And there's just, I don't know. I mean, Moniz, in science, there are some things that you can take for granted, some things that are repeatable and provable, but it doesn't always mean that it's always the case. You still have to kind of take into effect that it's not an absolute.
Well, nothing is truly absolute.
No, because you could do the same thing, a 900th time and still get just suddenly get a different result.
Correct.
So.
Yeah, but there are certain things that we can, like light being a constant and, motion being, certain things. Yes. But that's just, we accept that as it being this, just so we could model the rest of the things off of that. It gives us a starting point,
right,
so to speak.
There's always going to be an if-then.
Yeah.
So we have to be willing to say that some of these are going to be always that if.
Well, getting back to what you're talking about, what people seeing on television, that isn't so much education as it is conditioning. There's a difference. Education in sense that you're looking into it. You investigate all of the other possibilities. Where people seeing stuff on television, they're being conditioned to think this is the way that it's done.
And it's an indoctrination to a specific dogma that isn't necessarily the dogma that we as people in the paranormal want to have push, but it's being shaped by what the people that aren't involved in this feel is the most digestible to people. Which is why I think that, when you show up, and I know that you've done this, Moniz, when you've talked to groups, and I know that Stephanie's done it when she's talked to groups, and I know I've done it when I've talked to groups. But when you show up and you start talking about things that are different viewpoints than what somebody might have seen on television, then all of a sudden you are this like radical thinker.
Or different methodology than what they've seen.
Right.
Yeah.
You're just this like outside the box radical thinker. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm just saying about one thing that you're just not familiar with because you have, put on those blinders and gone down that tunnel.